All Renegades of Puck to the trenches. It's time for Renegades of Puck TV. It's time for the essence of no half-stepping. I'm your host and captain, Crazy Charlie Saunier. Welcome to the bunker. Please, if you need to know any information about the Renegades of Puck, go to renegadesofpuck.com. Right there, you can get the link to our merchandise page, and you can find out all about all of the great things we have in our merch store right now. We have put our logo on virtually everything. The classic logo t-shirt, the Pride logo merchandise, also socks, pillows, and just about everything else you can imagine. The Renegades of Puck have sold out, so you can buy in. Remember, all of that is done by the Renegades of Puck, so that helps us out each and every time you purchase something. That helps us out here in the bunker. Also, when you go to social media, make sure you are giving us a subscription to YouTube. Now, well over 100 subscriptions, and we sure do appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you set your notifications to on so you know every video that we post. We try to get one up for each and every game, but of course, in these fluid and uncertain times when it comes to the COVID list, games being canceled, postponed, all of that, you just never know. So we're going to give you as much content as we can, as often as we can, and we're going to do that across all of our different social media platforms. So please give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscription on each and every one of those different platforms. And don't forget our brand new Instagram page and SoundCloud is where you can find the show in audio version only. Of course, on YouTube, you find Renegades of Puck TV. Well, you find Renegades of Puck Radio on SoundCloud. So make sure you're searching that link out as well. Become a partner of the Renegades of Puck by going to Venmo and searching out Renegades of Puck, or just scan the QR code on your screen right now. We received some incredible donations from some great viewers and listeners over the holidays, and we sure are appreciative of each and every one of you. Stick taps, love, and respect to all. We are investing every dollar back into the bunker here, and we are hoping to be unveiling some new things soon. Not just construction here in the bunker, but some other things that we've got going on that we think you are going to find just absolutely fascinating. And we've got a whole lot of great partners that I can't wait to tell you about throughout the show. But for now, let's get to that no half-step in hockey coverage that you come to the Renegades of Puck for. The Nashville Predators, after tonight's game in Washington, currently, after 31 games played, have a record of 19-11-1. That's good for 39 points, and they find themselves sitting second in the Central Division, 1 point behind the Minnesota Wild. The Nashville Predators have a record on the road of 10-6-1, and after falling in Washington, now we'll be heading immediately off to Columbus to take on the Columbus Blue Jackets. The Nashville Predators have faced off against the Columbus Blue Jackets once already this season. It was back on November the 30th, and the Nashville Predators, one of their most convincing and dominating victories of the season, 6-0 over the Columbus Blue Jackets on home ice. It was Philip Forsberg with 4 goals in the game, Mikhail Granlund with 4 assists, UC Saros got the shutout with 27 saves. Trennan and Cousins also added a goal in that game. Now, for the Nashville Predators, once they wrap up this very quick return to action 2-game road trip back-to-back Saturday, which will be the first day of the brand new year of 2022, the Nashville Predators will host the Chicago Blackhawks. Then Tuesday night, the Nashville Predators will be in Vegas. Then on the 8th of January, the Nashville Predators will be at Arizona. Then they will take on Colorado on the 11th at Bridgestone Arena. On the 13th, they will host the Buffalo Sabres. Now, for the Nashville Predators, we have a lot to talk about. When you go inside the numbers and you start looking at their NHL ranks, they are starting to slip in a couple of categories, but we are also seeing just a little bit of movement in other categories. 2.93 goals for per game, that is 16th in the NHL. Goals against, 2.63 is now 8th in the NHL. Shots for at 30 is 19th in the NHL, and shots against at 29.2 is 4th best in the NHL. Power play, Nashville Predators ranked 6th best in the league, 25.6% conversion, and on the penalty kill, 79.4% is 20th overall in the NHL. Now, the Nashville Predators are looking better when it comes to the COVID list, when it comes to injuries, but still missing a couple of key players going into this next game, including the Nashville Predators captain, Roman Josi, also the leading scorer on the Nashville Predators, Colton Sisson's Tommy Novak, also out at the forward position, both of them being centers. That limits the position quite a bit for the Nashville Predators. When you look inside the rest of the numbers for the Nashville Predators, I just mentioned Roman Josi leads the team in scoring, 10 goals and 19 assists for 29 points. Then you'll find Mikhail Granlund, 5 goals now, 23 assists for 28 points. Matt Duchene back in the lineup from his injury, 13 goals and 12 assists for 25 points. Ryan Johansson's at 8 and 16 for 24. And Philip Forsberg takes over the team lead in goals now with 14, adding 9 assists that he has 23 points on the season. With the back-to-back for the Nashville Nashville Predators. UC Saros got the first start in Washington. Now, after that game, a record of 15-8-1, a 924 save percentage, and a 2.2 goals against average. Rittich expected to get the start against the Columbus Blue Jackets, a 3-1 record on the season, 880 save percentage, and a 3.10 goals against average. Now, for the Nashville Predators and the Columbus Blue Jackets, we've already covered the season series. This will be the final time these two teams meet this season. For the Columbus Blue Jackets over in the Eastern Conference, a different story than what the Nashville Predators have experienced so far. The Jackets are 14-13-1. They find themselves fifth in the Metropolitan Division. They do have a good home record of 9-3-1, but they've given up 91 goals in the season and given up 95 against. They have a goal differential of -4. In their most recent action before the league was shut down for the Christmas break, we've got to go all the way back to December the 7th. It was a 5-4 loss at the Toronto Maple Leafs. They followed that up with a 2-1 shootout loss versus the Anaheim Ducks on the 9th. Then on the 11th, it was a 5-4 overtime win at Seattle, a 4-3 loss at Vancouver, and a 5-2 loss at Edmonton before the league froze the schedule. Now, they won't play again until Saturday when they will host the Carolina Hurricanes. I mentioned the numbers for the Nashville Predators. Well, now let's mention the numbers for these Columbus Blue Jackets. At 3.18 goals per game, that is 11th best overall in the NHL. Goals against at 3.36, 26th best overall in the NHL. Shots for 29.9 is 21st overall. Shots against at 34.8 is 32nd, which is dead last in the entire NHL. On the power play, 13 out of 70 conversions this season. That's 18.6%, which is 17th overall in the NHL. And on the penalty kill, they've given up 16 power play goals against. That's ranked 22nd overall in the NHL, 78.7%. Now, there are a couple of individuals on the Columbus Blue Jackets that can and have in the past hurt this Nashville Predators team. Bjorkstrand, 9 goals and 14 assists, leads the team with 23 points. Voracek has 1 goal, but 21 assists for 22 points overall. Werenski at 5 and 14 for 19. Jenner at 11 and 7 for 18. And then Texier, 9 plus 7 for 16 in net. This tandem has had some success across the league. Elvis Merzlikins, 11-7-1, 9-11 save percentage, a 3.06 goals against average. And Jonas Korpisalo, a 3-4 record, 8.91 save percentage, and a 3.79 goals against average. So for the Nashville Predators, they need to find the confidence that led them to a 6-0 victory against the Columbus Blue Jackets. And Philip Forsberg, if he has the opportunity, needs to get loose and score some goals. The Nashville Predators really could use a big one. I know they just had their 7-game winning streak snapped against the Washington Capitals, but after everything stopped and now had to be restarted, it's kind of like starting all over again. And the Nashville Predators now fall in Washington. They really could use a victory over the Columbus Blue Jackets before coming on home to celebrate New Year's Eve and then get back on the ice for New Year's Day against the Chicago Blackhawks. It is definitely an interesting time across the league. If you look at the schedule just this evening, most of the games across the league were postponed, and we're going to continue seeing many games that are going to be postponed. It is going to be a very fluid situation as we move forward. We are nearing the halfway point of the season with the NHL not going to the Olympics. There are dates where games can be made up as long as we don't have too many cancellations and too many postponements moving forward. For the Nashville Predators, the last thing they needed was to have their momentum circumvented by having a lengthy stoppage here over the Christmas break. Hopefully, after the first period tonight, they were able to get things going, and they'll be able to start moving forward and getting back on track for the rest of the season. We've got a whole big game to talk about, so let's get into that. It's now time for the Rebirth Sports full game recap from tonight. Nashville Predators in Washington to take on the Capitals. But first, let me tell you very quickly about Rebirth Sports. Go to rebirthsports.com or on social media, Facebook and Twitter. Just search Rebirth Sports. Not just the hockey jersey that I wear here when hosting Renegades of Puck TV, but you can see my personalized gloves that I have added to the set made by Rebirth Sports, as well as so many other incredible items. Not just jerseys, they are hockey tailors, and they can outfit your entire hockey operation. I've had such tremendous conversations with these guys lately. So many great things coming down the pipeline in the second half of the season. I'm very much looking forward to being able to tell you so much more about that very soon. Rebirth Sports, you'll want to let them know you heard about them right here in the trenches being talked about by the Renegades of Puck. Again, rebirthsports.com. Now, the Rebirth Sports full game recap. It was 12/29 of the year 2021, and the Nashville Predators were taking on the Washington Capitals in Washington. Here are your line combinations: Forsberg, Granlund, and Duchesne, Tolvanen, Johansson, and Cunnin, Trennan, McCarron, and Janot, Olivier, Cousins, and Tomasino. Looks considerably different at forward grouping than it did when the pause happened pre-Christmas. Ekholm and Carrier, Harper and Fabro, Borowiecki, and Benning make up your defensive pairings, and UC Saros gets the start in net. It wouldn't take long before UC Saros had to make his first save of the game, just 38 seconds before he has to come up with a save through traffic on Karlsson. At 1:53 of the first period, Samsonov comes with the save on Trennan after a solid forecheck by the herd line. 3:15, Eller's got a sixth goal of the season. Washington Capitals find themselves with a 1-0 lead. It was Ovechkin to Karlsson to Eller on the back post for the easy conversion and finish into the empty net. Caps 1, Preds nothing. 7:44 of the first period, McCarron is off the box, 2 minutes for interference. After Saros makes a 2-on-1 save, McCarron carried his man through the crossbar, taking the net off and causing a very large scrum. As a matter of fact, it was Hathaway that was driven through the net, and that's what caused the scrum. And Ovechkin would get the one-timer on the power play, would be stopped by UC Saros, as everyone knows that play is coming for the Washington Capitals. The Nashville Predators were able to have a good penalty kill and then generate their best offensive pressure of the game to this point. After that penalty kill, that ended when Matt Benning had a long shot on goal that was frozen by Samsonov. But for the Nashville Predators, at least showing a little bit of sign of life. At 12:53 of the first period, Samsonov stopped on Olivier at close range. At 13:11, though, immediately after, Karlsson, his 7th goal of the season, gives the Caps a 2-0 lead. It was a wrist shot from the right circle off of the rush, beating UC Saros 14-32. Duchesne's got some stick handling in the close range area, but his shot unfortunately goes over the crossbar. This would have made every highlight reel across the world for the rest of the season if he had been able to convert. Obviously, Matt Duchesne coming back from injury with plenty of confidence, just not quite the touch yet. 16:03, we see Johansson's off to the box, 2 minutes, and UC Saros having to come with a huge save on Karlsson's one-timer from out high. Another strong penalty kill by the Nashville Predators. 18:20 of the first period, Samsonov's comes up with a save on Johansson at 18:52. Dowd, his 4th goal of the season, now gives the Caps a 3-0 lead. Harper was the only D back on this one, and I don't think I need to make any more notations on that one. 19:21, we see a scrum by the bench that leads to multiple minors. The Preds come out in favor of this one, ending up getting a power play. End of the first period, Caps outshoot the Preds 11-6, but it's a 3-0 game. The Preds do have a power play going over into the second period for just over a minute's worth of time, but as that power play expires at the 1:23 mark, it is Trennan getting the Preds on the board. His 6th goal of the season, Nashville Predators' 1st goal of the game. Washington with a 3-1 lead now. Janot took the shot. Trennan follows up with the rebound jam and puts the puck into the net. 4:27. We see Borowiecki and Wilson square off. No punches actually thrown between the two of them. It was aggressive hugging, and Borowiecki gets 17 minutes. John Hines is absolutely pissed over there on the bench, and who can blame him for that? UC Saros has to come up with a save on Oshie's one-timer. 7:03. Cunnin, his 5th goal of the season, cuts the Washington Capitals lead to 3-2. Nashville Predators making an aggressive move in this second period. Tolvanen sauce on the 2-on-1 is just one of the sickest things you'll ever see to help with the finish at the back post. Washington now leads 3-2. Just 35 seconds later, it would be Philip Forsberg making it a 3-3 game with his team leading 14th goal of the season. Low slot deflection off of Fabro's high shot from the blue line. This was just a work of art by Philip Forsberg, his 14th of the season. And we've got a brand new hockey game. 13 minutes into the second period, UC Charleston with a save on Karlsson, and the D support helps out quite a bit on the rebounds. This leads to yet another large scrum and another batch of matching minors. 16:22 of the second period, UC Charleston with a save on Hagelin after the D turns the puck over. Granlund then with the diving clear keeps the rebound out of harm's way. Benning off to the box, 2 minutes for roughing. Predators find themselves short-handed yet again. Saros comes up with a save on Ovechkin plus Sheary's rebound opportunity, and Harper is offering some solid D support to his goaltender in this situation. We hit the end of the second period. We've got a brand new hockey game, but the Nashville Predators Predators are being outshot 22-14 overall. Going into the third period, it was a bit of a feel-out process for the first 5 minutes or so, as it seemed like neither team wanted to give any ground, or I should say risk making a mistake. Unfortunately, at 6:15, we see Dante Fabro make a mistake with a puck over the glass, 2 minutes for delay of game. We would see UC Saros come with a huge save on Sheary, and the Preds D would block several shot attempts during this penalty kill. 8:24 of the third period, Wilson's off the box, 2 minutes for tripping on Granlund in the neutral zone. Mikhail Granlund just working harder and wanting the puck more than Tom Wilson, so Tom Wilson goes off to the box. UC Saros, though, has to come up with the biggest save of this penalty kill, and it is a shorthanded save off of the rush and just incredible edge work as we've come to expect now from UC Saros. As a matter of fact, I think some of us are starting to take it for granted. At 10:33, Saros comes up with a save on Wilson's partial breakaways. He comes out of the box and receives the puck immediately. UC Saros yet again showing why he is easily one of the best goaltenders in the NHL. At 12:18, Granlund off to the box, 2 minutes for cross-checking. Saros comes up with a stick save on the goal line, preventing the puck from going into a wide open net. Just another highlight reel save in this third period. We'd see Wilson go off to the box, 2 minutes for tripping. We'd see a 4-on-4 that lasted 34 seconds. But unfortunately for the Nashville Predators, as the 4-on-4 is expiring, they look to be setting their alignment up as Kuznetsov has the puck behind UC Saros in the Nashville Predators net. He steps out and picks his spot, top corner, snipe, and he beats UC Saros with the shorthanded goal, giving the Washington Capitals a 4-3 lead. Simply left behind the net for entirely too long. He had enough time to think about it. You thought maybe he was going to go for a cross goal. Then you thought maybe he was going to go for something else. He just stepped out and he took that shot. And I disagree with what was said on the broadcast. At this level, that shot can be accomplished by nearly any high-powered forward in this league. Yes, it was a hell of a snipe, but at the NHL level, they practice it all day long. Somebody needed to move in, somebody needed to take the body, somebody needed to prevent that scoring opportunity by Kuznetsov. We see the empty net scenario at 17:35 in the third period, and Hagelin's converting with an empty net goal, giving the Caps a 5-3 lead. At 19:32 of the third period, something dumb involving Tom Wilson happens, and more penalties are called. We have the game come to its conclusion, 5-3 in favor of Peter Laviolette and the Washington Capitals. Caps outshoot the Predators 37-19. So the Nashville Predators, in a tie game in the third period, only managed 5 total shots on net. It's just simply not good enough. Yes, the second period was one of the best periods of the entire season, but that third period is something that simply cannot happen. And for the Nashville Predators, I expect them to come in with a much more complete, full 60-minute effort in Columbus. Even though it's going to be the second night of back-to-backs, I expect them to come up with a big, big effort. That third period was a real disappointment, leaving Kuznetsov all alone like that. He's entirely too high skill a forward and a lethal sniper at the NHL level, and you left him time and space and opportunity, and he took 2 points from you tonight, Nashville Predators. Now listen, UC Saros, I felt like he had a pretty strong game in this one. The Preds had a really slow start. First period giving up 3 goals. Not everything was UC Saros' fault, but even Saros a little bit cold early. He was strong late. 32 out of 36 overall in the game. 13-14 in the third period, plus stopping 2 partial breakaways. There's only one man I want to hear talk about his performance tonight. He is, of course, the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck. You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. He is MOSTRODAMUS.
Thank you very much, Charlie. A wild night in D.C. with the Nashville Predators looking to extend their winning streak to 8 games. But unfortunately for them, it was the Great 8 and the rest of the Washington Capitals that came away with the victory by a score of 5-3. Gutsy effort by the Preds, falling behind 3-0 after the first period, forcing a tie into the second period, and then going to the third. Look, we didn't know what to expect after a long layoff. We saw a little bit the night before where teams were giving up a ton of goals. Goaltenders were giving up a lot of goals. We'll get to that in a second. But after being down 3-0, no Roman Josi on the ice, playing for the first time against their former head coach Peter Laviolette and the rest of that coaching staff. It would have been sweet to see the Washington Capitals with that 0-for-6 power play unit, which we just harped on about for almost, it seems like years, when he was coaching the Nashville Predators with him and Kevin McCarthy, with the power play couldn't do anything. Would have been nice to come away with a W on that, so we can't really give them too much flack because they did end up getting the victory over Nashville. UC Saros, 32 out of 36. Save percentage overall doesn't look great, but he is the sole reason why this team even had a chance of hope late in this game. Third period, at the time of that empty net goal, Washington had outshot the Preds by 15-3. So the Preds didn't really generate much of anything in the third period. It seemed like maybe they were going to try to hold on, maybe get to overtime, but Kuznetsov did not allow that to happen. That was a little bit lazy in their own end. He just sat there with the puck behind the net for as long as he wanted and skated out to the side. Nobody challenged him, so all he did, well, I'm going to put it on net. He puts it in the perfect spot where Saros could not get to it, even with his helmet up against the bar like that. So kudos to him. That's just a phenomenal shot to beat Saros, who just had an absolutely miraculous third period to keep his team in it. Next up for the Preds, the Columbus Blue Jackets. Elvis Merzlikins stopping only 6 out of 9 shots in 12 minutes of ice time the last time these two teams played. So again, Columbus looking for some revenge tonight against the Nashville Predators. Columbus, decent team on home ice. They're 4-0-1 in their last 5 home games. Overall, though, they've played a bunch on the road. Just 2 wins in their last 10 games overall. So this team is struggling and have not played since the teams have returned to the ice from the COVID outbreak and Christmas break. So they're going to be a little bit rusty, but you know what? As we saw against Washington, they are going to be feisty. We saw teams and players were ready to get back at it. They don't like being off for this long, especially in the middle of the season. They came back with some fierce anger and aggression, as we saw against Washington. It didn't even have to be Tom Wilson. There was many other players involved on the ice, and it shows that guys are ready to get back out there. I did want to go over a little bit about the high-scoring games that we've seen since the Christmas break had come up. Now, last night, of course, we saw a ton of goals being scored in just 3 games. Tonight, as of this recording, all 4 games have gone 6 goals or more combined between the two teams. So you're seeing a lot of overs, a lot of high-scoring games, and that's a combination of things. Obviously, guys are rusty, so the first part of the game that goes is usually the defensive end of things. Goaltenders, if you're off by 0.1 seconds mentally or physically, at the blink of an eye, that puck is in the back of your net. So you don't like this long layout. You want to be in a groove where you can continue to play your game. Charlie, take it away.
You can find him on Twitter at GreekGoalie35. He is the starting goaltender of the Renegades of Puck, and he's a man so far ahead in the future. He's told you everything that's happened between the Nashville Predators and the Columbus Blue Jackets and shared all of his thoughts on everything that happened between the pipes. Let me tell you very quickly about Strong Style Fit. Just go to StrongStyleFit.com or search Facebook, Instagram, Twitter for Strong Style Fitness. Tracy has done an incredible job of jumping in the trenches and helping the Renegades of Puck. If you need a basic stretch to help get you off the couch and just get you moving, or you're more of an expert than that, it doesn't matter what fitness level you are at. Strong Style Fit has a workout catered for you. 150 workouts now by a certified personal trainer right there on YouTube. Totally donation based. That means Renegades of Puck, it is free for each and every one of you. A happy renegade and a healthy renegade are exactly the same thing. So jump in the trenches with Tracy and Strong Style Fit and make sure you let her know that you heard us talking about her right here in the trenches on Renegades of Puck TV. Sean C. Smith from ontheforecheck.com, also from a myriad of other podcasts. He's on the front lines. He's gathering the intel, and he has a lot of information that you need to know. Just wrapped up the media session with the head coach John Hines and some of the players. He's going to fill you in on some of the things that he talked about tonight with them, including the character and the identity of this Nashville Predators team. He is, of course, on Twitter at SCSOTF. He's a must follow, and you can catch him right here on ROP TV at any time. He's Sean C. Smith.
Thanks, Charlie. Hey, Renegade, Sean C. Smith back again with the Renegades of Puck, and I want to talk a little bit about what we saw against the Capitals. Matthias Ekholm said it best after the game. They really beat themselves with the first period because they came out a little slow. But then he did follow up and say they found their identity in the second period. And that's the biggest thing you have to really focus on with the game tonight. Did the guys go and do everything they needed to do after that first period to make sure that the other team was worn down? Did they go hard on the puck? Did they take the puck into the corners? Are they willing to go the places that no one wants to go in order to dig the puck out? Did they make the other team pay for every inch of ice that they gained? And I'd say they did. Now, of course, the game ended in Washington's favor, but the reality here is that first period. But the team found their identity in the second period. Some teams don't find their identity in the second period of their first game back after a long break. Some teams don't find their identity in their second game back after a long break. Sometimes those teams, after a long break, don't find their identity at all. And this is a team that had been playing without a lot of the players that were on the ice tonight and had been playing with a lot of players that weren't on the ice tonight. So you have to look at how the team has built that identity. They've built that environment in that locker room to where every guy that puts on that sweater knows exactly what they need to do in order to get the job done on the ice every night. And that's what you saw starting with the second period. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, but Sean, there were a lot of penalties. The team played really loose. Okay, fair. There were a lot of penalties. The refs got new whistles for Christmas. They wanted to show them off, and everybody's really, frustrated about it. I'm frustrated about it. But the reality is when you play on the edge of that line, sometimes you're going to step over. Sometimes it's going to happen more in some games than others. But the reality is that wasn't out of sorts for the way the Preds have played. And for what anyone wants to say about the fight between Mark Borowiecki and Tom Wilson that wasn't much of a fight, believe it or not, that's the kind of stuff that gets guys in the locker room fired up. Everybody wonders what happens between periods in that locker room, and it's typically not what you think. But Borowiecki showing he was willing to go toe-to-toe with Tom Wilson tells you everything you need to know about this team. He showed the guys, hey, I don't care who they are. They're bigger than me. They're better than me, whatever. I'm willing to take them on for you. And that's the attitude the team came back out with and played with the rest of the night. So that's the identity the team's built. Yeah, it's a loss. Yeah, they ended their win streak. Big deal. The season's far from over, and there's a lot more hockey to be played. And this is the team I want to watch, the team that knows their identity and plays to it every night. With that, Charlie, I'm going to send it back over to you.
On Twitter at SCSOTF, you can find his work at ontheforecheck.com or on a myriad of other podcasts across the landscape of Nashville Predators and NHL hockey coverage. Sean C. Smith is one groovy dude and a great hockey analyst, and I sure do appreciate having him here in the trenches with me. Let me go over the box score and get you a couple of numbers. Then we'll be hearing from Brian Baston on the next episode. He'll be back running the Renegade Analytics desk. But for now, let me give you the numbers you need to know for tonight. Philip Forsberg, Luke Cunnin, and Yakov Trenin are your goal scorers for tonight. Granlund does add an assist to his impressive season total. Janot adds another assist. Eli Tolvanen with a sweet assist in this game. Dante Fabro with 2 assists in this game. And Harper does pick up a point in this game. For the detractors of Ben Harper, yes, there was a very poor defensive play that he made tonight where he got hung out to dry, but he also picked up a point, made a couple of other defensive plays. Shots on goal, 3 led the team, and that was by surprise Ryan Johansson. That means the Nashville Predators need to put more pucks on the net is what that means. Matt Duchene needs to have more than 0 shots on goal over the course of an entire game. Now, when it comes to block shots in this game, Carey and Ekholm, I mentioned block shots, so much penalty killing out there tonight that they did such a great job on. Block shots was a key component of that. Carey and Ekholm lead the team in block shots with 3 apiece. It was a very physical, it's a very chippy game. There were a lot of scrums after whistles. Tanner Janot seemed to be having him a good time out there, even right up to the last seconds of the game when he was still looking to go with Tom Wilson. I would have liked to have seen that happen. He paced the team with 5 hits tonight in this game. Olivier had 3. Trenin also chipped in with 3 hits. Mikhail Granlund led the entire team in time on ice at 25-18 in total minutes, and it was Ekholm leading the defenseman 24-52 in total time on ice. Stripe Digital Solutions, you can't fight the algorithm alone, and I am sure lucky to have an incredible partner in Stripe Digital Solutions. Please check out stripedigitalsolutions.com or go look on Facebook, Instagram for Stripe Digital Solutions. They can help you in so many ways. Brandy didn't only help me create the logo, didn't only help me create the website, helps me maintain the website, but is helping me create a marketing plan and platform for the Renegades of Puck that is going to take us to the next level. Again, you cannot fight the algorithm without an incredible partner who knows exactly what to do and craft and create a plan that can help build your brand, help your business, and help grow the game that you are trying to be a part of here. Whatever it is that you're doing, Brandy can help you with that. Let Brandy know we were talking about her right here in the trenches with the Renegades of Puck. Also, Stick Taps love and respect. Brandy's been a little bit under the weather as of lately, as so many of you Renegades have been out there. So I hope everybody gets to feeling better, and I hope everybody's back up and running full speed soon. Hey, before we get out of here for tonight, there's a staple on the desk. We're going to get rid of that. There is one thing I definitely wanted to talk about before we we head out, and that is the Nashville Predators and their support of growing the game. I had an opportunity over Christmas break while I was not in the bunker. That's right. I snuck out of the bunker. I even climbed out of the trenches, and I showed myself in public. It was at Bridgestone Arena, of all places. It was an opportunity for a bunch of rec league players to get together and play one great hockey game at Bridgestone Arena. For some, it was the opportunity of a lifetime, and for others, it's something that they will absolutely never forget. For me, I've had the opportunity to skate at Bridgestone Arena, and it is special each and every time. I had a great time skating with some of my former teammates, the Mighty Drunks, but most importantly, what happened that night was I went out to center ice as the captain of the Renegades of Puck. And as you can see the photo on the screen right now, I stood at center ice at Bridgestone Arena, and we revealed ourselves to the world. This is the time and age of Renegades. And if you weren't sure what we were all about, no half-stepping means putting your colors on and standing solo right there on the dot, welcoming all comers. I'm not hard to find. You want to jump in the trenches with me? Let's do it. RenegadesOfPuck.com is how you find this show. I sure would appreciate each and every one of you. Go out, recruit, bring me more Renegades. This show has the opportunity to be a force for positivity in the hockey community. With so much bullshit that goes on out there across the landscape, you need someone who can fight for what is good and what is right and what is great about this game. When I say no half-stepping, that's exactly what I mean. That's why I wear the C. That's why I'm the captain of the Renegades of Puck. Follow me through the trenches and into hockey trench warfare. I promise you, we won't fail. We will deliver the goods. We'll always be here. Stick taps, love, respect.